This South Wind Coach Conversation brought to you by Fidelity Bank and Trust in Ossian and Calmar, Dave's Collision Shop in Ossian, and Becker Hardware in Ossian. We're with boys basketball coach Blake Moen. And coach, 14-6 regular season for your squad, a second place finish in the Upper Iowa Conference. The regular season is behind you, and you're looking forward to different things right now. But all in all, how satisfied were you with the 700 winning percentage through the first 20 games?
Yeah, no, great question there, Darren. Honestly, we were very pleased and happy. I think going into the season, we thought of it as if you can go in and say we're going to win 14 games, we'll take that any year. And our guys, I give our guys a lot of credit. We, from the get-go, Darren, gave a lot of really great effort in our early practices. We battled and competed against each other really, really hard. And I think as the season went along, we have really improved in a lot of ways that led to some big conference wins down the stretch. And we had the one non-conference win against Hudson. We won't be making up our 21st game against New Hampton, but being 14-6 says a lot about just our guys coming in every day and battling, finishing towards the top in the conference, and just the efforts that we gave every day to get there.
And you got 20 of your 21 games in. That's a victory in and of itself with the way the world is right now, right?
We really weren't sure, I think going in, I think most coaches would say wasn't really sure how the season would go as far as that. But 20 of 21 games in, and again, we're playing basketball, we're enjoying practices with each other, and we're happy to have gotten through the year and getting ready for the playoffs.
And you had a 5-game winning streak prior to last night's game up at Waukon. How confident is your team right now, knowing the fact that at least a lot of those teams in the postseason bracket that you will face, you're familiar with?
Yeah. I think that's a good question, Darren. I think for our guys, we had some big conference wins down the stretch. An overtime win on Tuesday night against Clayton Ridge. That gives us some confidence because in some of those games put us in some late game situations with timeouts and hitting free throws and, switching up some defenses to give different looks. And there's something to be said about those experiences and just being in those situations that can help us, because those, in my opinion, were very much like conference game or playoff games as we get ready for Monday night. So, it's always going to be helpful to be in those situations. We'd rather, even if you in the regular season come out on the losing end, at least you're in those situations and can hopefully help you when you get into the playoffs.
Jacob Harold ended up averaging 14.2 points per game for you this year and 3 assists per game as well. Obviously, he's been key to a lot of success in a lot of sports at South Wenatchee. What's made him a special basketball player?
Yeah, leadership. Leadership to me is a big one. Being a vocal leader for us in practices, in film room meetings, on the court, on the bench, is a big one. And always challenging, competing against himself, but then also our other teammates to elevate everyone around him. He has really helped us through some games where, maybe we're not shooting as well, we're not getting as many good looks, but his physicality to get to the basket, getting to the free throw line, getting a couple steals on defense that we need, some big rebounds, and just like I said, leadership of just kind of leading us through some of those big wins has been a huge success in other sports that he's shown, but in particular to basketball, that's where he's been really, really successful. And I know from last year to this year, he really wanted to improve on some scoring and finding different ways to score and get to the basket and help the team win. And can't say enough about him with the improvements he's made in that regard, but also just leading us through to get the wins that we have so far.
And Trey Green, a nice season for him as well. Any kid that averages a double-double in the biz, we call that pretty good, right?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right, Darren. And I said this before too with Trey. Can't say enough about the work ethic that he commits to the sport of basketball. Puts in a lot of time in the off season, plays with a lot of AU basketball over the past few years, and really shows, when he can get the ball down, when we get him the ball down low, and in his shooting and just everything else. But I would say, the credit to his season has just been his work ethic coming in, always asking to get extra shots in, staying late after practice, wanting to come in on those Saturday mornings when maybe we don't have an organized practice, and so on and so forth, has really showed. And like you said, anytime you average a double, that's excellent. But Trey also just has earned that because he continues to get better and improve in that way.
And you got the Eagles coming to town on Monday night for the first round of competition. You beat them twice during the regular season, but one was an overtime game, as you mentioned. One was a 3-point win. Obviously, you're a pretty even matchup for round number 1 of the postseason. What's going to take to move on to the second round come Thursday night?
Honestly, I look at it as, Clayton Ridge is always going to be well coached. I have great respect for Coach Spurs Foggy at Clayton Ridge. He always has his teams prepared and ready to go for every game. And, Darren, if you look at their schedule, they've lost a lot of really close games that were 3 points, 5 points. There was an 8-point game in there. So they've played a lot of really close games too, that, they lost just down the stretch. So they've been in a lot of those situations. And like you said, we beat them both games, but one was an overtime and one was a 3-point game up at our place here earlier in the season. And so, we're going to have to prepare, I think, to really, get after it early, and know that I think the biggest thing that we've been talking to our guys about is, no one really cares now about the conference standings or your non-conference wins. It's now that the regular season's over, it's a brand new season with the postseason, and it's a win or go home mentality, of course. And so we have to come out on Monday night, not worrying too much about, what's happened, with our previous 2 games. We can learn from situations and watch film and learn by all means. We certainly can do that, but we have to look at this game as a brand new game, brand new season, because it is a win or go home situation.
And talking to a lot of the coaches of teams that are in your district starting on Monday night, you look at Wapsie Valley, they're a clear-cut number 1 seed, but really 2 through 8, you can put them in a hat, and you guys are pretty even. Do you agree with that assessment as well?
Yeah, I do, Darren. I look at the top. I think Wapsie Valley is deserving of the number 1 seed. I look at Edco too, who we of course haven't played and plays in a different conference, but they've had a great season as well. Give their kids and coaches have great credit for an excellent season as well. And really, after that, it's everyone that's very familiar with each other, like you said. And I think, I look at it as our conference overall, in my opinion, Darren, was very balanced. And to take majority of the teams and put them all in the district together, you're going to see that where any game, anyone could beat anyone, and it's going to be a dogfight. And again, there's a couple of those teams that are in the conference, but I think our district overall is very, very strong. And the team that comes out, we'll have to beat some good quality teams in order to win the district.
All right, Coach, congrats on a good season to this point. Hopefully you can take that next step and make it an even better season here in the postseason. Keep yourselves healthy this weekend. Stay warm, and best of luck to you starting on Monday night against Clayton Ridge.
Hey, thanks, Darren. Appreciate your time. Appreciate the coverage. Thank you.
Blake Moen, head coach of the South Winn Warriors. This Warrior Coach Conversation brought to you by Dave's Collision Shop in Ossian, Becker Hardware in Ossian, and Fidelity Bank and Trust in Ossian and Calmar.